Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. And welcome to TechByte on Salam Media. My name is Faizel Patel. Just gone 2 minutes past 7 o'clock on this Sunday evening. I take this opportunity to welcome all the viewers and all those people that have tuned in to this wonderful program on the various platforms of Salam Media. Remember, you can interact with me by sending me a tweet on at Faisal Patel 143. You can also get me on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143. I'm on facebook.com/slash Faisal Patel, and then also on YouTube where I do all my reviews and unboxings and a whole lot of other videos you can check out there as well. So please subscribe to the channel Faisal Patel 143 and also check out some of the videos and hit the like button. So a lot coming up in the show today. We're speaking about WhatsApp, we're speaking about Microsoft, we're speaking about Twitter, and we're also speaking about the latest Huawei Nova phone that is currently available in South Africa. So if there's any questions that you want to share with me, you can drop it onto this particular feed or on the various platforms that I mentioned on social media. And inshallah, I will then try to answer as many as I can as well. So, without further ado, let's do jump into the stories. But before we do that, I just want to give a quick update for those that are tuned in. Lenasia South has had no electricity since Friday. Now, I'm not going to go into the details about it, but this was with regards to the substation apparently catching fire. There's no determination of what caused the fire, but just before driving to the studio this evening, Isaac Mangena from City Power said that they are busy electrifying or recharging the transformer. So, inshallah, if you are tuned in and you're from Lenasia South, we should have, and with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, electricity by about, let's say, hopefully earlier than 10 o'clock this evening. It's been a horrid weekend, absolutely. For me, I was on duty at the Citizen, working the weekend shift, and normally I work from home. But with the outage, I couldn't work and I had to go to the newsroom. It was absolutely difficult. We couldn't charge our phones. That's why I'm in the studio this evening as well. We couldn't do a whole lot of things. Our stuff in the fridge are getting melted and soft, and you can't even have a decent cup of coffee. So it's just horrible. We just don't understand sometimes the value of electricity. But spare thought for the people in Gaza who suffer this almost on an almost daily basis. So we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them, inshallah. But load shedding continues, no doubt. You'd have read my story on the Citizen. Well, they suspended it temporarily this afternoon, but Sikonati Manshansha then issued an additional notice this evening. And obviously, load shedding will continue throughout the week at different stages. And I will communicate that to you. You can check my Twitter handle. And just to give you an idea how bad load shedding is, January this year, January has been the only month this year that there has not been load shedding. So every month from January right up from February right up until November, we've had load shedding at different stages. January is the only month that we've had no load shedding. That is absolutely horrible, right? And coming on to December, a lot of people will be going for holidays. Some people will be staying at home because things are so expensive. And the last thing you need is load shedding, especially when the kids are home or you want to watch something on TV or you want to stream something and there's no access to electricity, which affects your fiber and a whole lot of other stuff. But anyway, let's move on to the story. So if you use WhatsApp and if you got a lot of groups on your WhatsApp or on your phone, then you'll be glad to know there's a lot of features that's coming to WhatsApp. This will be rolled out. Now, I was fortunate enough, very, very fortunate enough, to be sitting in a main press briefing with Mark Zuckerberg, not Mark Zuckerberg, that's the CEO of Facebook or Meta, but a few months before these features got rolled out, I was sitting in a meeting with WhatsApp executives and I knew about these features a long time. I've actually written a story, it was embargoed, and now finally it's come to fruition. So, for home industries, from businesses, for media houses that use WhatsApp and have large groups, well, you're going to be glad to know there's a lot of features coming which really does help. So let's touch on it quickly and look at what they have to say. So WhatsApp has officially launched what it calls communities. Now, this new feature offers larger, more structured discussion groups that first entered into testing earlier this year. Now, that's when I was sitting in that particular meeting. So I am very fortunate that I touch base with WhatsApp, who are based in South Africa as well, and I get all the juicy bits and all the news to share with you as well. So the announcement was made by Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Thursday last week, and I just want to quote him. He says, "Today we are launching communities on WhatsApp. It makes groups better by enabling subgroups, multiple thread announcements, channels, and more. We are also rolling out polls and 32% video calling too, all secured by end-to-end encryption, so your messages stay private," right? So that is absolutely amazing. Now you're going to have you will have rather more people on groups. So that is actually exciting. Community is also designed to help organizations like Salam Media, clubs, radio stations, schools, and other private groups better communicate and stay organized. The one thing that we have, and it's a problem for me, and I get very irritated, is that when you're in a group and there's a debate that started and it goes on and on and on. So admins of these group will now have more power, which is very exciting. It also brings a number of new features to the messaging platform, including admin controls, as I mentioned, support for subgroups and announcement groups, 32% voice and video calls, larger file sharing, emojis, and polls. Now, I like the larger file sharing part. The reason is because if you take a video that's larger than a certain amount of megs, you can't send it on WhatsApp, then you have to use WeTransfer or you have to use email, and it's just a schlep, right? So now there's larger file sharing and the more features coming as well. So let's speak a little bit more on the features. Communities themselves. Now listen to this. Normally you'd be only allowed 512 people on your group. Now with communities, you can get support groups of up to 1,024 users. That is absolutely amazing. Home industries, businesses, Salam Media, many others can now add more people onto their WhatsApp groups and send messages one time as opposed to sending messages in different or in staggered fashion. And then obviously all these come with end-to-end encryption. Now I know you're going to speak about the whole privatization and the privacy issue that we reported on earlier this year. But remember when WhatsApp went down a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we realized how useful WhatsApp is, and we can't do without it. I was using SMSs. Can you believe it? When last have you used SMSs? But the thing is, WhatsApp is the go to platform. Nobody uses anything else. Well, in other countries, maybe they do, but in South Africa, WhatsApp is the go to platform. So some of the features developed by for communities like emoji reactions, large file sharing up to 2 GB. That's amazing. And the ability for admins to delete messages had already been made their way to WhatsApp platforms ahead of the launch that happened. So 2 GB is actually amazing. Well, I hopefully it could have been more, but 2 GB better than nothing. And some of the features developed for communities like emoji reactions, large file sharing, as I mentioned. Now the company says polls. Now, poll is basically you want to gauge how much people like a certain thing or hate, like the South African cricket team, right? They lost to the Netherlands in the T20 World Cup, and the term, and I'm just using the term, chokers again made its sort of way on the social media platform. I actually wrote a story today about the chokers term. You can read it on a citizen's website. So you can ask a question like, or you have a poll: are the Proteas chokers? Yes or no? So polls are actually quite nice. So let's speak about it. Polls. So you can do that as well. And then the video calls. I think that's actually amazing as well. And then also the poll feature that I was talking. Now Zuckerberg said that communities makes groups better by enabling subgroups, multiple threads, announcing channels, and more. And then WhatsApp evolution. He says that this is a major evolution for WhatsApp, and it's something that he's been really focused on for the last year. So, yeah, one of the things and one of my aspirations is to interview Mark Zuckerberg. So, hopefully, my contacts at WhatsApp and Facebook in South Africa can make that happen. And communities are structured with one main announcement group, which alerts everyone by most important messages. However, members can chat in small subgroups. I think that is amazing. Say if you're having a religious debate or political debate, right? Some person puts a message on the main group, but everybody is seeing the same message. Okay, and everybody's now irritated because there's just messages coming after messages coming. So you can then chat in a subgroup, like a breakaway group, and chat about it and have the debate that you want. So members can only chat in small subgroups the admin has approved. So the admin can have a political group and a political debate group, political chat group, religious group, whatever you want, right? And this can keep members from being bombarded with messages about groups happening and events they are not connected to. I think that is actually amazing. Now, if you want to read that story, you can actually go to the Citizens website, citizen.co.za. And before I conclude, I want to share one very important message with you. If you got a very old phone, whether it's Apple or whether it's Android, listen to this because this is very important. One of those people that got a very old phone is my own brother Yusuf, and you would never believe that he's got an old phone because I'm a tech expert. That's what Newsroom Africa actually calls me. I'm no tech expert. There are actually people that know more than me, but I try my best, inshallah, to keep the community involved. So if you got an old phone, right, running an old operating system, then this news is for you because there's not going to be support for your phone any longer. Not, let's just get it straight. It's not that WhatsApp won't work. It will work, right? But when they roll out new features like communities, you won't get those updates because there is no support for it any longer. And phone manufacturers also roll out new updates. And if you've got a very old phone, that software update will also not be available for your phone. So please listen to this. I'm going to share with you. If you do miss it, please do check out the Citizens website. So the company told the Citizen, that's WhatsApp, that it currently provides support and recommended using the following devices. So if you are an Android user, right, if you've got an Android phone, make sure that you are running OS 4.1 and newer. So if you're an Android user, make sure that you are running OS 4.1 and newer. If you are an Apple iPhone user, make sure you are running iOS 12 and newer. Anything older than iOS 12, you will not get support anymore. And if you're running KAIOS 2.5.0 and newer, including GeoPhone and GeoPhone 2, those are the devices. So basically, WhatsApp said once you have one of these devices, install WhatsApp and register your phone number. This is what basically they said. So you can check out this story on the Citizens website and all the details about communities, including which phones will work and which phones will not work. I didn't list the phones because it's just too many. That's why I listed it by operating system. So if you want to know and check your operating system, go onto your phone, go to settings and go to software, and it will give you the details of what software you are running on that particular phone. And if it's not what WhatsApp has suggested, then I suggest that you get a newer phone and ensure that you can run the latest version of WhatsApp. If not, you're not going to get all the features that they've been rolling out and even more features to come. All right, let's move on. We're coming on to another story, and this is very exciting. This is a partnership between Design Indaba and Microsoft. So basically, what they did, creative company Design Indaba, in partnership with Google Arts and Culture, has launched an online project called Colors of Africa. All right. So the project brings online and showcases 60 specifically curated artworks produced by over 60 unique African creatives chosen by Design Indaba, each invited to contribute a work that captured the colors and characters of their home country. So I'm going to give you an idea now, but before I do that, I mentioned Microsoft. Now, the reason I mentioned Microsoft is because they got new data centers in South Africa and they've doing wonderful work with these. You can check out that story on the citizen.co.za as well. So let's come back now to the Google and Africa colors. So selected by Design Indaba's founder Ravi Naidu, the creators will showcase the best of African craft products, industrial design, fashion, film, animation, graphic, and food, music, and so much more, including jewelry and architecture. Now, Naidu said Africa is known for its bold, unapologetic use of color. Each country, city, and community is identifiable by the unique palette. As Africans, we can tell powerful stories through the color. This project tells the story of a continent through the universally accessible lens. And then Excuse me. So basically, I want to give you some quotes. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It's available on the Citizens website. The artworks will be showcased online where users are invited to spin the kaleidoscope. Now, if you don't know what the kaleidoscope is, it's basically a whole plethora of colors to explore the works in an effort to take users on a journey through Africa, inviting them to view each country through the eyes of a local artist. South Africa is included in case you're wondering. Now, Nitin Gajria, the Google managing director for Sub Saharan Africa, said the company has always been acutely aware and in full support of the immense creative melting pot that exists on the continent. And to quote him, he says, collaborating with the design Indaba on this project allows us to bring the support to fruition by empowering and amplifying African voices to tell the unique stories of their cultures through their work and creativity. We hope to provide much needed exposure, cultivate a newfound curiosity, and window into the vast beauty exists on the continent. Now, before we go on to the next story, I want to share with you. Yesterday, I was at the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation annual fundraising dinner, and they spoke about Kathy. That's Ahmed Kathrada, and also Lalu Isuchiba. And I've had the pleasure of actually meeting the marhum Uncle Kathy and also Lalu Isuchiba. And I used to love sitting with them. The reason is because they had such beautiful stories to tell about the incarceration, about the fight for freedom, the fight for liberty, the fight for benefits. And Uncle Kathy has always been very descriptive, and I used to love sitting with him. I mean, I studied history in school. I love history, and I know a lot of you people will be cringing at him. How can you study history? History has helped me in my journalism career. I studied everything from Hitler to Chamberlain and many others as well. My major assignment in matric actually started from grade 9 to matric, and they grade you on that, was Hitler's foreign policy. And you won't believe me if I tell you that I actually got an A for history with regards to this particular assignment. So I'm not saying that I love Hitler. It's just that the assignment was so difficult, and it was so enthralling to write about what a monster this guy was and what his foreign policy was. So I used to sit with Kathy and tell us his rich stories. You guys need to actually learn the history about our struggle stalwarts, the likes of Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Uncle Kathy, and even Uncle Isu Chiba, humble individuals who I had the pleasure of sitting with. So there's Africa for what do you call it, for Africa colors. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I think there's so much rich stories to tell in Africa, and this Colors of Africa tells this wonderful story. So please do check it out. The story is on the citizen.co.za. And I just want to touch on that Microsoft story that I was speaking about quickly, one or two lines on that. So Microsoft and MTN have agreed on a strategic alliance to accelerate digital and cloud transformation, working towards a shared vision of driving Africa's growth. Again, we're staying with Africa. Amazing that there's so much investment being done, not only in South Africa, but in Africa as well. So, also a few weeks ago, spoke about Google's cloud services that's going to be launching hopefully soon, and they're going to be building a multi-million rand investment and billion rand investment in South Africa, and these cloud services will be just absolutely amazing, and it's a huge increase for South Africa's GDP. Now, this agreement is in support of MTN's intent of leading digital solutions for Africa's progress to support government, business, and customers using the versatility of Microsoft platforms and solutions to accelerate value creation. And they speak about the power of technology, they're speaking about skilling people, they speak about innovation and the growth of Africa. Now, if you want to read that story as well, it's available on the Citizens website at citizen.co.za. All right, let's come on to a very important topic, and that is Twitter. Now, this is or has been a very controversial topic. In the last week or so, we know that Elon Musk, the South African born billionaire, the world's richest man, has now officially taken over Twitter, and he fired some employees. I mean, he just cut down the workforce, and he made some controversial decisions. One of them is the blue tick next to your name. Now, I am one of those fortunate enough to have a verified account. Now, the reason I got a verified account is that if you read my story on Twitter, or if you look for Faizel Patel on Twitter, you will find a blue tick next to my name. Basically, what it means is that the person that you are looking at, or that account that you are looking at, is the Faizel Patel and not a fake account or fake person. It's me, nobody else, right? So basically, I'm just going to touch on this story very, very quickly. Twitter began rolling out a controversial new paid subscription system yesterday, actually, that the social network's unpredictable new owner, billionaire Elon Musk, ordered staff to build after taking over last week. Now, days into the Tesla boss stewardship of one of the world's leading platforms for discourse and activism, he promises and provocations are prompting a wave of reactions, including warnings from the United Nations and an apology from Twitter's co founder, whose name is Jack Dorsey. So, yeah, Musk is really fluttering a lot of feathers among many communities, as I mentioned now. Now, he's planned to dial back content moderation on the site, causing such a concern that the UN rights chief, Volker Turk, on Saturday urged him to make respect for human rights centered to the social network. And to quote him, he says, Twitter has responsibility to avoid amplifying content that results in harms to people's rights. Turk said in his open letter. Now, reports of Musk laying off the platform's entire human rights team were not, from my perspective, an encouraging start, he said. That's what basically Elon Musk said. And then Jack Dorsey, the previous owner or CEO of Twitter, who co founded Twitter in 2006 and stepped down as CEO last year, tweeted to apologize for the growing site too quickly a day after roughly half of the company's 7,500 employees were fired by Musk. Yeah, Twitter had 7,500 employees, and Musk fired almost more than 3,500 people from Twitter. He said the company was losing up to $3 million a day. So that's actually quite hectic. So he said, I realize many are angry with me, he wrote. The remaining employees are witnessing an upheaval in their company's culture. As early as Friday, Musk launched his first flagship project, the redesign of the Twitter Blue subscription option. Now, basically, he has reportedly told his team the redesign must be ready for potential activation by November 7th, the day before the US midterm elections, on the jobs will be on the line. That's actually quite hectic, right? And then the article, which is available on the Citizens website, also speaks about sprint to launch and many other features, ad spend suspended, and he speaks about the blue tick. So basically, he wants to charge $7.99, $7.99 for the blue tick. That's for Twitter Blue, but it's not available yet in South Africa, only selected countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the US. So if it does come to South Africa, and if you are a verified account holder, you're going to have to pay $7.99 per month to be verified and to use the blue tick. Now, when I got my blue tick on my name, it was free of charge. It took a long time to get it. Twitter had to see if I'm the actual person, and now we're going to have to actually pay for it. Now, $7.99 works out to roughly around, I think, give my math, around 130, 140 Rand, perhaps a little bit more. But it's 130 Rand that you never spent before on just a little tick next to your name. Next to your name. But it's so important, especially in the Twitter space, especially like for me, like as a journalist, because if I don't have that blue tick next to me, a lot of people can have or create an account under the name Faizel Patel or with a number and pretend to be me. And it happened to me before where I lost a good friend because she thought that I had tweeted something that was actually tweeted by a fake person or person pretending to me. So obviously, if it does come out here in South Africa, I will do something and I will probably consider it as well. All right, come on to our last story for this evening. We spoke about the Huawei. There's a new Huawei that's available now in South Africa. I was at the launch of the Huawei devices, and we spoke to Akram Mohammed a few weeks ago. He gave us some details. Akram, a wonderful, wonderful person, always willing to speak to me and come onto any platform to share updates about Huawei and many other features as well. And just to let you know, and I want to show you quickly, I am using my Huawei watch here. You can see phenomenal battery life. I've charged this watch almost 2 weeks ago. almost 2 weeks ago, and it's still sitting on 15%. This is an amazing watch. The battery life is absolutely awesome, and no other device, not Apple and not Samsung and many others, come close to the battery life of the Huawei. And if you are wondering whether it pairs with your iPhone or Android device, well, you don't have to stress. I've done a number of videos on that. Please check out my YouTube channel, because you are really missing out on a device that does so much: your heart rate, your breathing, your exercise, everything. A lot of features. I even use this watch for the moon phase. During our ahead of Ramadan and the end of Ramadan, when it's Eid and beginning of Ramadan, there's always this huge debates of whether the moon has been sighted and not been sighted. And I must admit, but it only happens with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, because He can decide whether the moon is sighted or not. But anyway, this has been very accurate in deciding whether the moon has been sighted or not. So let's move on to the Huawei Nova 10. So we've seen the Huawei Nova 10, Huawei Nova 10 Pro, and now the Huawei Nova 10 SE is available in South Africa. So let's go quickly through some of the features. The Nova 10 SE comes equipped with a 6.67 inch OLED full view display, supports 10K level auto brightness adjustments, which calibrates screen brightness depending on the light conditions. It also supports always on display and a whole lot of other features. The refresh rate is of 90 hertz and a touch sampling rate of up to 270 hertz. Camera wise, 108 megapixel one, which paired with 8 megapixel ultra wide angle and 2 megapixel macro camera, complete setup. Huawei said the Nova series has always drawn acclaim for its formidable mobile photography technology. Like the Huawei Nova 10 Pro, which I have with me, has got a 60 megapixel front facing camera. No other phone has got such a high caliber camera, never mind the back camera. Absolutely amazing. And then the design, the smartphone comes in two bold colors, starry silver and starry black. Huawei said the anti-fingerprint AF coating acts as smudges, oils, and water, so you don't have to worry about smudging. Let's come on to the innards and the RAM and stuff. Internally, the Nova 10e supports a Qualcomm Snapdragon 680G chipset, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 6 gigabytes of onboard storage. And then battery, very important. The Nova 10 SE comes with a new and improved battery life, gaming capabilities, entertainment features, and smart communications bring the accelerating experiences that today's young users expect. It comes with a 4500 milliamp hour long lasting battery that supports 66-watt Huawei supercharge, right? And you can charge the phone in 38 minutes to charge the smartphone full capacity. That means in 38 minutes, the Huawei Nova 10 SE can charge to full in just 38 minutes. Absolutely amazing. And a lot of you will be asking about pricing and availability. The new Huawei Nova 10 SE's retails, listen to this, I think it's absolutely amazing. Very, very cheap. There are phones with less features that sell for more. The Huawei Nova 10 SE retails for 8499 and is available from the Huawei online store and at selected retailers. So if you want to read that story as well, you can go to the Citizens website at citizen.co.za. And if you want a Huawei watch or if you want a Huawei phone, please do check out my YouTube channel where I speak extensively. In the one YouTube, I even compare the Huawei Nova 10 Pro with the Samsung Galaxy S22 and also the new Oppo Reno 8. And if you're worried about the watch and you want to buy the watch, but you're apprehensive whether it's going to connect, it's not going to connect, check out the videos because I've did two videos on this and they've got phenomenal views. So you can be rest assured. I mean, 2 weeks battery life, dear viewers, listeners. Imagine 2 weeks. That is absolutely amazing. There's no other watch that does this. I hate charging my watch every day, and the other brands just 2 3 days for me is not enough. But imagine 2 weeks. That is just awesome. Anyway, we've come to the end of this week's show of Tech Byte. I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to that if you missed a particular show, it will be also on Salam Media's YouTube channel, and inshallah they will load it as well. It will be also available on my website at faizelpatel.com, also known as Wired to Tech. And if you've got any questions with regards to tonight's show, you can tweet me on at Faizel Patel 143. You can get me on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143 and also on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. And now my YouTube channel has got its own directed and proper name, Faizel Patel 143. Please do follow me on those various platforms. I need to grow my support. This is an appeal in a kind-hearted way, though. So please follow me on the various platforms, Twitter and Instagram, and also Facebook, and on YouTube. Check out the videos. There's a lot of unboxings. There's a lot of reviews of phones as well, including personal videos, COVID and a whole lot of other stuff. So please like the videos and subscribe to the channel. So please enjoy the rest of your week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you safe on the road. May you have a wonderful week. Remember the Ummah in the difficulty situations. There are those that are ill, those that are going through difficulty, jobs, those women that can't conceive, and so many people are having problems across the world. It is only the power of dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can accept du'as. And I want to leave you with this dua, which has helped me a lot when I didn't have a job and before I got a job as a citizen. You can see it on my Twitter profile also. It goes like this: Allahu latifum bi ibadihi yarzuqu man yasha wa huwal qawiyyul aziz. If you recite this abundantly, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you to overcome any difficulties you may have, especially financial difficulties. So from myself and my engineer for this evening, Brother Sadiq from the Salam Media Studios here in Omondi, Fi Amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.